All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a Toronto Raptor video. The season starts technically today. We've got a couple of games. We've got 2 games on the slate tonight, but then the Raptors, they get the season started off tomorrow. So gonna go through a couple of players and kind of give some predictions, give some previews, that type of thing. If you guys enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. We are, I think, 45 subscribers away from 8.5K. So thank you for all of the engagement, all the likes, all the comments. It really helps out the algorithm. Let's get into it. This Raptor season is going to be very interesting. There's so much about the Raptors online right now, whether it's from, American media or it's from, the actual Raptors media. There's a lot of not confusion. There's a lot of excitement, but there's a lot of question marks around this team, particularly a couple of guys like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, OG, Gary Trent Jr. I mean, you could make a realistic case about every single player on the roster except Goran Dragic, saying I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder what's gonna happen. All of the players that the Raptors have, they're young, promising, high potential players. So if they've schemed out this, master plan, if you will, being big, being long, if the Raptors had even 2 or 3 players break out this season, and I mean really break out, I mean, OG actually winning most improved, or Pascal making first or second NBA All-Team, or Freddie going 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, that type of breakout. If they just had 2 players completely break out, you're looking at something really special. And I don't think that most of the NBA media has really figured that out yet. This week is huge for the Raptors because they're without Chris Boucher, they're without Pascal Siakam, and they have 2 tough games on the slate. Hopefully they easily beat Washington tomorrow. Bradley Beal, I believe, is out actually, or I think it's just yesterday when I made a video about Bradley Beal, I heard he was probably good to go, and now I'm hearing he's probably not good to go. So maybe no Bradley Beal on Wednesday, but anyways, you want that win. But then you have Boston, and then you have Dallas. So in literally less than 1 week from right now, we will have a pretty solid understanding of, can the Raptors be relevant this season? Because if you're missing Chris Boucher, if you're missing Pascal Siakam, that's 2 of your best players. Chris Boucher is a beast, Pascal is a beast. They're both on their way up as well. They both provide tremendous defensive support, offensive playmaking. They can do a lot of different things. They're vital for the Raptors. So if the Raptors could win 2 games, if they're super competitive, I don't know what they can't do this season. There are so many players on the roster that I think you could just legitimately say they might actually break out this year. And I'm thinking of 2 guys in specific. This first one might be a little bit surprising, but Gary Trent Jr. I mean, Gary Trent, his playmaking ability in preseason, he only played a handful of games, he looked really solid. And what sucks for Gary is I think he's going to come off the bench. I think Goran is going to start. I think he's going to be the 1. I think Freddie's going to be the 2, OG, Scotty, and then probably Khem Birch will be the 5, the starting 5 on opening night. But Gary Trent Jr., I really want him to start at least a decent amount of games, or at least at the end of the season, because he showed, Raptors fans, it. When they picked him up last year, it was crazy. What, he dropped 44 right away? This guy is special. And offensively, he can do a lot of different things. And he's one of the guys on my list where I'm Gary Trent Jr. in a starting role, averaging 17, 18 points per game, I could definitely see that happening. And that's what the Raptors desperately need. Maybe not desperately, but something that they could definitely use is 3-point shooting and guys who can score on their own. And that's exactly what Gary Trent Jr. can do. Number 2, I'm thinking Precious Achiuwa. This is a guy who averaged 8 or 11 minutes last season with Miami Heat in his rookie year, playing right behind Bam. 5 points, a little over 5 points, like 5.2, 3.5 rebounds, something brutal just because the sample size is so low. But he showed a lot of flashes with the Miami Heat last year. And then he comes into Toronto, comes into the Summer League, comes into the preseason with playmaking skills, shot blocking, and a jump shot. And it's like, this is the Precious Achiuwa that everyone was waiting for last season that just never really came to fruition because he's playing behind Bam Adebayo and there's wasn't enough to go around. So my one concern with Precious this season is he might be more of a 4. We'll see how he plays at the 5 because preseason looked fine, Summer League looked fine. He should be fine at the 5 position. Maybe he's better at the 4 position. Either way though, Khem Birch, it's his job to lose. So Precious Achiuwa, he's going to be coming off the bench right out of the gate. I don't know if Yuta is good to go. I know Yuta, I believe he just had a kid, was it? Or something's going on with Yuta that he's a game time decision. If not, if Yuta is, I don't know if they'd start Yuta at the backup 4, but you see where I'm getting at. Precious Achiuwa, him and Khem Birch, they're going to be the big men for the Raptors this season. It's pretty clear they're going to be the 2 centers starting and the bench center. Precious should be able to get a handful of starts early on based off of matchups. Khem Birch, though, like I said, it is his job to lose. So I love Khem Birch. They paid him for a reason, and he's another one of those players that when he got to Toronto, all of a sudden he's developing this shot, this jump shot, this three-pointer. He can defend the rim, and he can get rebounds, and that's exactly what they're looking for in a big man right now. And like I said, they paid him a decent amount of money, a very tradable contract like all the other Raptors contracts, but they paid him money to give him the starting role. So I think Khem Birch, it's his job to lose. I'm rooting for him because he's another one of those players that might break out. Like, he is definitely a breakout candidate. So this Raptors team, they've got a bunch of different players who might break out, but I think those are like my 3 sleepers because a lot of people just kind of say, we've talked about it all the time, like Freddie, OG, Pascal. I think those are a little bit more obvious, and I still love to talk about it, but I wanted to talk about the more low-key guys like Gary Trent, Precious Achiuwa, and Khem Birch because I think they're in store for sleepy seasons or sneaker seasons. If 2 of those 3 players are significantly better than they were last season, the Raptors are in phenomenal shape. So that's it for today, guys. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. Like I said, we're about 50 subs away from 8.5, so it's greatly appreciated. See you guys tomorrow.